Burnout? What are you talking about? I have this all under control. Tinny, get out of the trash can. Tinny, no! Hi loves, and thank you for being here. I certainly hope this video finds you in a happy, healthy place, both emotionally and physically. But if not, just know that you are in my thoughts, and I believe in your ability to turn things around. And I hope this video can help you do exactly that. My name is Jessica, and I run this channel called Mental Health Mom, but the name really refers to this community that we have here of parents and caregivers of all genders and ages working together to encourage each other throughout the week and remaining conscious of our emotional health while doing what needs to be done. If you are new here, then we are all giving you a very warm welcome. My name is Jessica, and I am a clinical mental health counselor in Florida. I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I am experienced working in both the individual and group therapy setting. In addition to counseling, I also have experience as a researcher, teaching at the university level, and conducting neuropsychological assessments and evaluations for a broad range of neurological and psychiatric disorders. My goal is always to help individuals use the tools they already have in order to become their favorite versions of themselves. And if you are feeling burnt out, you are not your favorite version of yourself. I actually have a different video I was intending to publish today for another series that I'm working on YouTube, but lately YouTube has been flooded with individuals talking about burnout. It seems like every other video I click on has someone mentioning that they or someone they know is experiencing the effects of burnout. And my clinical experience has taught me that this is a very common trend for this time of year. Most individuals are on a bit of a high after the new year, coming from holiday vacations, year-end bonuses, time with family, New Year's resolutions, and then midway through the year, a lot of individuals are perhaps disappointed with where they are in their personal or business-related goals. Maybe they are up for mid-year work review, which can be very stressful. For many, there's also the question of, am I going to graduate or pass this college course? And for parents, of course, this is the time of year that the kids are home from school, which is fun and exciting for the first month or so, but by the time August rolls around, most are exhausted and capital R, ready for those kids to go back to school. Burnout is a term that was first used in research lexicon in 1974 by psychologist Herbert Freudenberger and was defined by him as the loss of motivation along with a growing sense of emotional depletion and cynicism. You see, Freudenberger observed volunteers working at a community clinic, and he found that formerly happy and healthy mental health workers were becoming not only physically tired and unsatisfied with their work, but resentful of the patients at the clinic. Now, in many cases, burnout has been studied in service industries and jobs focused on caregiving, with individuals working 60 to 70 hours a week for long periods of time, say several years or even decades. Now, I read this and I was thinking, I wonder if I know anyone who has a service or caregiving related job who works 60 to 70 hours per week for years or even decades on end. Moms. And you want to know the crazy thing that research has proven about burnout? It doesn't only cause you to resent those you are caring for, it also causes you to question your own competence. Think about it. When do you most often wonder how good of a mother or parent you are? When you are refreshed and well rested, or when your toddler is teething and no one has slept in 3 days? I've heard that situation causes people to question their competence as a mother. I've heard that. And studies show that simply working too long or too hard is not the only element to consider. Ultimately, burnout results when the balance of deadlines, demands, working hours, and stressors outweigh rewards, recognition, and relaxation. I wonder if I know anyone who works long hours in a caregiving job for years on end and gets little to no recognition. Moms. So, let's talk about whether or not you are burnt out. You may be experiencing burnout if you or others have noticed that you appear emotionally and physically exhausted. If you were recently mistaken for an extra on The Walking Dead, you're probably experiencing burnout. 2, you could be experiencing burnout if your outlook has become cynical and you feel or appear detached. Have you been finding it hard lately to see the glass as half full or engage in meaningful conversations? 3, if you have feelings of ineffectiveness or lack of accomplishment. If you have insomnia. For you, it could be that you're feeling more forgetful than usual or your concentration seems impaired. Some physical symptoms that can be very serious, by the way, so please consult your doctor if you are feeling these things, include chest pain, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, headaches, dizziness, gastrointestinal pain, increased illness. Are you getting sick more than usual? Are you that person who usually doesn't get common colds or flus, but you've been getting them lately? I've heard that happens. As my child throws a pillow at my head. Along with increased illness, you may be experiencing appetite disturbances, meaning you're eating more or less than you normally do. Anxiety is also a side effect, so is depression. Now, one really notable side effect of burnout is anger. And most of the time, this anger begins as irritability, and it grows to affect one's marriage. You have frequent and violent outbursts. You see, burnout changes the structure of our brain. The brain, although it is not a muscle, it behaves very much like one. So areas that we often use, just like a dominant arm, become stronger and larger. Now, the stronger and larger that these areas in our brain become, the more our brain gravitates toward using them because it is more efficient to do so. And your brain loves efficiency. I am right-handed, therefore my right arm is much, much stronger than my left arm. And I'm therefore more likely to pick things up with this arm. I'm more likely to use it more often, and I don't even have to think about this. I instantly reach for things with my right arm because it is more efficient. It will be an easier task if I use my stronger arm. Your brain works exactly the same way. It uses these stronger areas more efficiently, and therefore it gravitates toward using them more often. Now, the problem with chronic burnout is that it causes the amygdala, or the fear, fight, or flight center in your brain to become stronger and larger. And I have done a video on this, but that is the center of our brain that is triggered when we are enraged, because rage, in its most primitive state, evolved as a defense mechanism for when a prey is being held down by a predator. When prey is being held down physically by a predator, it gets really angry, which causes a rush of adrenaline, giving the animal strength and energy to fight the predator off. Problem is, your brain doesn't know the difference between someone physically holding you down or you feeling emotionally restrained. And so your body becomes enraged in both scenarios. A mild version of this would be irritability. When you are in a setting which demands so much of you for so long with little to no acknowledgement, reward, or foreseeable break, you most certainly feel the emotional sensation of being restrained. No wonder you are irritable. The more chronically irritable you are, the more you are set up to be irritable in the future because that area of your brain is stronger. And it's not just the amygdala that is affected by burnout. Many studies detailing the neurological effects of burnout through MRI have shown weakened connection in the mid-prefrontal cortex, or the NPFC. This area controls executive faculties or higher level thinking. This is the area that takes over when you really want to melt down like a toddler, but decide to breathe it out instead. Now, this area of the brain doesn't mature until our early to mid-20s, by the way, which is why toddlers physically cannot master their meltdowns until they're a little bit older. And what that means for you is that if you are burnt out, more things are going to set you off, and you are going to have a diminished ability to control and resolve your anger. The NPFC also controls attention, so your ability to quickly switch your attention from one task to another, a task which parenthood demands, will also be compromised. But the good news is that your brain is neurogenetic and neuroplastic, meaning that you generate new neurons or brain cells every day, and you also make new connections in your brain every day. So just like physical toning, if you are wanting to improve an area of your brain, you have to exercise that area. In the case of burnout, you are wanting to give as little activity as possible to the amygdala, or the fear region of your brain, and focus more activity in the mid-prefrontal cortex. Meditation and other activities that require uninterrupted concentration can definitely help build and strengthen this brain region and weaken the amygdala. But it is also helpful to give yourself a break. Your brain needs balance, and too much frontal lobe activity is also associated with anxiety-related disorders. I know nothing about those. So be sure to also engage in activities that you enjoy. The goal here is to minimize your stressors and maximize your positive influences. This may require making some sacrifices and cutting some things, dare I say even people, out of your life. My suggestion is that you make a list of your activities and responsibilities, then evaluate whether each is helpful, harmful, or completely irrelevant. It may require more than one evaluation on your part, but this simple assessment of priorities can provide fast benefits. Well, that is it for today, guys. I hope this has been helpful. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. There are lots of ways to overcome burnout, and for the sake of time, I wasn't able to mention in this video all of them, so please tell me how you overcome burnout if you have some additional advice. Please leave that advice in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Baby on board, naked baby on board. She has a diaper on, but mostly naked baby on board because she's boycotting clothes at the moment. I'm not going to